Why? Why would you do that? That's not funny at all. Why would you do that to me? Why did you do that?
Come on in and sit down. You cut the hardcore crew chewing the fat. You cut us shooting the shit. You cut us in the moment.
So we were talking earlier, guys, about the possibility of the Bullet Club, which is probably going to go under the name Balor Club, to the WWE. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Bullet Club was very big in New Japan Wrestling. To be honest with you, I know very little about the stable. Joe, what are your thoughts about this coming into the WWE? Do you think it's going to happen, and is it even a good idea?
Oh, it's definitely a good idea. One thing we haven't seen in a long time, and I mean in about, 10, 20 years, is a raid of another promotion. And in this case, a major promotion like New Japan. You have AJ Styles, you got Luke Gallows, Carla Anderson, and Nakajima. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Those individuals are like the modern-day Four Horsemen in Japan. And WWE needed something like this. They needed to get this sort of press. And if you notice, that's all everybody's talking about. They're not talking about Brock Lesnar. They're not talking about the Seth Rollins or anything like. No, they're talking Bullet Club going to WWE. It's a great thing because if these guys can bypass NXT, it'll be a great thing. If they go to NXT first, I mark this down, they will feud with Finn Balor first.
Really, feud with him? I figured that Finn Balor would have done just the opposite and said, you know what, I'm bringing some of my guys in, I'm coming up to the WWE main roster, and these are who they are. I think to start a feud first would go against everything that the Bullet Club was all about.
Remember this, though. The Bullet Club is known for those individuals. Very rarely they know about Finn Balor. Even if people remember him part of the Bullet Club, he could say he's the one that actually came to WWE first and won a championship. I can see them all hugging in the middle of the ring, and they just turn and just beat up on him and have AJ Styles focus on Finn Balor.
Well, you know what? That scenario already happened because, when you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn over in NXT, it was the very same thing. The day that Owens debuted in NXT, Sami Zayn, I think he'd won the title or some major match, and Owens is in the ring giving him a big hug, and then 5 minutes later, he's powerbombing him under the apron. Right there, that kind of tells me why do it again that quick.
Because you have four individuals who are well-known in New Japan, who are well-known to the wrestling marks, and these guys put together, they are a lot bigger than Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This would be a bigger thing for the WWE, and I see this is what we need. We have so many people out on injuries. We need fresh faces. Even though they're not young guys, but they're accomplished veterans, and they can get the job done to bring attention back, not only New Japan, where they came from, but to NXT and WWE.
Lance, I'm not sure if you know the Bullet Club aside from just the notoriety, or if you've actually seen some of their matches.
The only bad thing about it is New Japan work is like when it's usually on when I'm asleep. But as our friend Ashley has shown me a lot of their stuff, and I know basically to New Japan, they were basically the NWO. At one time, Jeff Jarrett was a member, Matt Hardy, Finn Balor pretty much started the freaking thing when he was Prince Devitt. Really, WWE is really teasing the hell out of it to actually troll those smart fans, or they're saying, hey guys, we're doing this, because I even saw a picture with Finn Balor wearing not a Balor Club t-shirt, but a Bullet Club t-shirt with the text that said, they should be here by now.
And I actually saw that picture, and the funny thing is that's over in the WWE.com, so I think it just proves more and more they're dropping that carrot, but taking it away and just kind of building it up, so when they do show up, they're going to know what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. Best thing about this, it is a big story. Yeah, and again, I got to reflect back. It's a situation where we never seen the WWE go against another promotion and raid their talent. That hasn't been done since then, from the 80s to the 90s. And now, with the Bullet Club coming in, you're going to see a big change. I wouldn't even be surprised, Rick, if they put him in the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrance.
That's a big rumor that's been going around, too.
Well, you know, when you guys talk about that, I think they're doing all these new superstars into the Royal Rumble is due to all the injuries that's happened from all the way back into, like, you know, mid-2015 to where we are today. If you look at this John Cena right now, dislocated shoulder. You have Sting with a concussion. You have a couple of divas, 3 divas as it is right now. There's Paige, possibly Sasha Banks, and Nikki Bella. There's also Sin Cara. He's pretty much out. Cesaro's out. Orton's out. And Connor the Ascension's out. Joe, what's going to happen with all these these big players missing?
What's going to happen is it's going to enable the middle card guys and the NXT guys a chance to finally break into the spotlight. All those names you mentioned, you know, it really doesn't change the Rumble much. We're missing the heavy hitters. We're missing the Cenas, the Ortons, the Cesaros. But this gives an opportunity. The WWE is overpopulated. There's too many people right now. The Wyatts, you got the Usos, I mean, the list can go on and on. What we need right now is a refreshed roster. We need a new group of people to start coming in. And with those main hitters out of the way, those, you could say, veterans of the WWE out of the way, and the new guys out of the way, it's just going to bring a fresh group of either NXT people or, like the Bullet Club, to come up and pretty much steal the show. And I think this Royal Rumble, it's going to be a better Royal Rumble than we've seen, because we've seen many of them with Cena, Cesaro, Orton. Now we're going to see a fresh new Royal Rumble that we haven't seen in a long time. So this is going to be great to see. And I'm usually not into any current pay-per-views, Rick, but this one's a must-watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. Now, Lance, you heard all those names with all the injuries. Obviously, they're going to have to, as Joe pointed out, they're going to have to bring a lot of these guys to the mid-cards up. If you could pick 3 mid-card guys to move up to the main roster, what would it be right now?
You mean 3 guys from NXT?
If you want to do 3 guys from NXT, or you could do 3 guys from WWE for the main roster to push them up to the top roster. Whichever scenario.
Well, I'm kind of gonna do a little bit of a mixture of both. One, I'm gonna bring up Sami Zayn, because with WrestleMania this close and as many main carders or main eventers out, for that smart crowd, they're gonna need Owens versus Zayn, because that will draw. If they quit fucking him, I'm gonna say Dolph Ziggler.
I think right now with him as an IC champion, he's kind of at the higher end of the roster as opposed to middle card. But again, I agree that maybe if you push him up to the top 5 or even the top 3, definitely would be a good idea. Now, let's move along. I don't know, Joe, if you heard, but SmackDown has a new commentator. And his name is Mauro Ranallo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Joe. Have you even heard about him, or have you even checked him out?
I've never checked him out. I heard some of his work. I took a little glance of SmackDown through YouTube. I got a couple of clips, and I heard it's good that they're finally bringing in some new guys. We can't keep going with the same people. He needs work, but at least I see him getting there. At least it's a fresh face. It's too early to tell how far he's going to go, how he's going to be. But one thing, Rick, you know what I wish they would do? Forget about, who's commentating and everything. I wish they would take the leashes off the commentators. Well,
that's just it. I don't know if you really were listening to him, because he reminded me very much of Joey Styles. He had that charisma, and he also really did, like Manny was mentioning, a lot of the, through the actual moves. He was calling, just the T-bone suplex. He was using real names that we haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, what he has is the enthusiasm. It's the young enthusiasm, and that's what we need. He is in there, and he is pushing, back. You could say back to the basics, which is definitely what is needed. And I hope they I hope they do that with more commentators they bring up.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance, what are your thoughts about the new commentator over at SmackDown?
Well, Grant, I don't usually watch SmackDown, but if they desperately need new life in the whole commentary department of WWE. Well, for their two main shows. Too bad they didn't put him on the. Well, I understand why they didn't put him on Raw, because, well, let's face it, that's like they see it as putting somebody in it, just learning how to drive a car, throwing them in the Daytona 500, is how they would see it. But I would personally see it as, well, finally some new fucking life.
Fair enough. I want to move on. I was going to talk about TNA's new miracle, Mike Bennett, but to be honest with you, he's not worth my fucking time. I think the guy is a joke. But I want to jump onto something that really I found was, I was marking the fuck out about, was James Storm not only returning to TNA, but reforming Beer Money, Lance.
Yeah. We were both messaging each other when we saw this.
And, I've always been a huge. I think they were one of the best tag teams for a while throughout the whole industry. I thought they were one of the best. Joe, what were your thoughts about Beer Money coming back?
Well, you know what? It's a good thing for an established tag team to come back. Do I think it was a wise decision on James Storm's part? No. When the checks start going boingy, 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 he's going to regret even re-signing. Now, hopefully, he has a guaranteed contract, what they used to give out in WCW, because if he doesn't, this is going to blow his chance of ever returning to WWE. He'll go back to NXT like Christian came back to the WWE as a jobber, and nothing will ever be done with him.
Yeah.
If I actually know the details of both offers.
Yeah, for what? Actually, Lance, why don't you tell us about him?
Well, WWE offered him 2 years, both years under $100,000. Dixie offered him 2 years. I think it's like $250,000 a year, plus a cut of the merchandise.
And Joe, to me, that sounds like a very smart idea. So long as, like as you said, he has an ironclad contract, despite the fact that WWE is the big monster that they really are, sometimes doesn't money better than fame? Absolutely.
As long as it's a guaranteed contract, I don't think nobody's going to frown down on him. You got to make money in this business. That's the reason people become professional wrestlers, is to make money and get the glory. Again, I just hope that this doesn't bite him in the ass, because history has foreseen that Dixie's bank account sometimes runs a little dry.
Yeah, again, very fair point, and we've seen Dixie kind of drop the ball not once, not twice. Hell, shit, I think she just stepped on it and blew the fucking thing up. But I think at this point, the ball says, you know what? I'm getting out of here before the ball can drop again. Before I can drop again, I'm going to roll out of here, lady. But in all honesty, Joe, when I saw the this past Impact, I was pleasantly surprised. I have to admit, I liked what I saw. If they can keep this up, then I can say I'll probably get more respect from them. But right now, I'm just assuming this might be a one-shot deal, but I'm hoping that we'll see a second one.
Oh, it's what, reboot, 4 now? Or 3 or 10?
If you want to go that way, if you want to count the time that they didn't have the TV contract.
Yep, so you put it like this, it's reboot 4 on a new network. I'm guessing 6 months they're going to be looking for a new network once again they start dropping in ratings. Rick, I'm not even going to go over with the fans of my rants about it. You and me discuss what really needs to be done in TNA. I think, and I'm going to stick to that. Until they get that, 6 months, I guarantee TNA will be off pop.
Fair enough. Now, one last topic, that I want to talk about tonight is Roman Reigns has to defend his title in the Royal Rumble. Lance, how do you see this panning out?
One of two ways, and I think I mentioned this on either Billy's review or when we did the live reaction. One, they'd be retarded to do this, and I am not making fun of anybody with mental problems, but they're a dumbass if they actually do this, and they bring Seth back way too damn early and put the belt back on him, which they have been known to bring back people way too damn early, just ask Daniel Bryan. And if they put the belt back on him, that's a bad idea. Now, I see Roman possibly entering number 1 and winning the whole damn thing just to make him look like super freaking man.
And, that is a possibility because, Joe, you and I talked about this a little bit earlier tonight and how they're trying to make Roman the new John Cena. So, again, aside from the fact that I honestly think he's going to win, there's other factors we have to talk about in the Rumble, which is... you got big guys like Braun Strowman, Big Show, and even Brock Lesnar's coming in. How do you think this is all going to pan out?
Well, you know what? I have to think back to 1990 when Ric Flair won the world title in a Royal Rumble, guys. It was those moments that when everybody expected Ric to be thrown up over the top rope and beaten, Ric Flair was, number 2? And he went all the way to the end and captured the belt. I believe what's going to happen is Vince is going to come out in the Royal Rumble. He's going to say, hey, guess what? Roman Reigns, you're number 1, and you're going to fight through all 29 guys. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of twists and turns. You're going to see a lot of people taking on Roman Reigns. But then it's just going to explode into chaos where everybody's going to want to go after each other. You're going to see a lot of different people, and Rick, I even said it, the best scenario for this is AJ Styles comes in as a surprise entrant, and his Balor Club comes in, tosses everybody out except for Roman Reigns, and all of a sudden you're going to have a big guy like Braun Strowman, Kane, or somebody enter it and start throwing these guys out of there, which will make a good show. It's going to be difficult. It's got to be difficult for Roman Reigns. I don't see them taking the belt off of him, but I see them making his life live in hell in that ring.
Oh, shit. With Roman Reigns, again, I think they're really trying to give him that push because over the past year, he really has. They've been building him up and giving that slow build. I think if he lost the title in the Rumble, it would only undo everything that's been done. The only way I could see about that is if they plan on making him a 3-time champion at WrestleMania. So, with that, guys, I think we're going to wrap this edition up in the moment. But we want to know, guys, what you think. What do you think about all these injuries? What do you think about James Storm and going back to TNA and reforming Beer Money with Bobby Roode, as I could talk? Please make sure you put your comments in the comments section below. Make sure you follow us over at youtube.com/HWRShow. And, of course, if you want to jump in the conversation, head on over to the group section in Facebook under the name HWR Chat Room. As always, I'd like to thank the Hardcore crew for coming on with me. First, he's the Classic Wrestling Manager, Joseph Knight. Joe, what do you got going on, and where can people find you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at JKnightCWA. They can also follow me on on Facebook at Joseph Knight Manager, or you could be part of my group, which me and Rick host, which is called Dark Knights, or Danger Knights, Dark Knight Batman, where we talk about different things like video games, movies. We do different reviews. So you can find us on Facebook.com groups DK Retro. And Rick, I think before you go off, I think we got to congratulate our first ever HWR champion. We got to thank the fans for voting CM Punk through our huge tournament. CM Punk went through all the competition, defeated Hulk Hogan. He defeated, I think, Roman Reigns. He went through so much. He got a bye in the semifinals, and finally in the finals he met Brock Lesnar, who he actually had a match with in the SummerSlam, I believe it was.
Correct.
And with your votes, CM Punk became the first HWR heavyweight champion. We're going to be doing our tag team tournament soon.
And as always, Joe, thank you. And then, last certainly not least, we have the incomparable Lance Moss, and he's over at youtube.com/LanceMossTV. Lance, what do you got going on? Where can people find you?
You can find me at youtube.com/LanceMossTV. I got album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck gourmet cooking videos, musical equipment reviews, some rants, and, well, I go live on that channel every Wednesday night at 8 Eastern. I never know who's going to show up. And hit me up on Twitter. It's at LanceMossTV.
And guys, again, with that, we thank you. And until the next time, and next time for the Hardcore Crew, I am your Hardcore host saying, we'll see you when we see you.
See what happens when you watch TNA? Your mind starts going numb.
Thank you for listening to this edition of In the Moment. Make sure you follow us at any one of our locations, whether it's YouTube, Dailymotion, and now SoundCloud.com under the name HWR Show. Until the next time, this is your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.